Good afternoon. I am showing 12 o'clock, so I want to keep us on track. And I know you all are very busy out there. Thank you all for everything you're doing. I always think about transportation at this time of the year. So just a reminder, keep doing whatever you're doing. We haven't had any major issues there, but I really appreciate you guys for staying on those licensing regulations and keeping the baby safe if you're transporting, especially for school age activities and things. It is very hot at this time of the year. We're having some really hot summers. So just keep up the great work, gang. We've got a lot of just updates for you all, but we also have Lori's going to talk about the class pilot. And I think Brandy's going to talk about the child care for early care and education employees and making sure, still pretty new. We just started at the beginning of the year and we just want to make sure everybody is still aware of that. We don't have a provider on for this call to talk, but we'll start that back when we meet again next month. We definitely think that's very valuable. So if anybody wants to share, and we'll probably move away from some of the American Rescue funding that we had and the focus of that, but maybe just things that you all are doing that you'd want to share with your colleagues. So just be thinking about that. If you want to volunteer, we'd love to hear from you. And I feel like your colleagues would too. So I think the first big thing, we have physically moved. And so I cannot tell you how many phone calls that I'm on daily with providers who keep saying DHS. We are not, we are Department of Education now, and we have been really for a little over a year, since August 1st of last year. We do have some of our field staff, some of our licensing, and some of our family eligibility staff that do the child care assistance that are in DHS county offices still out and around the state, but they are not DHS employees. So I just want to make sure everyone knows that. We are Department of Education, Office of Early Childhood Employees. But those of us in Little Rock have physically moved to 2 Capitol Mall. I know that staff have sent that out. We put out announcements, but just want to make sure that you're aware of that. So we are across from the Department of Ed K-12 and next door to our colleagues in Career and Technical Education, or CTE, and next door to the legislature and behind the state capitol building. So 2 Capitol Mall is our address now. I think mail goes over to 4 Capitol Mall and we pick it up from over there. But if you're looking for us down at DHS, we are no longer there. And I've had a lot of people who have come over here and said, I got sent over here by DHS. So 2 Capitol Mall is our physical address. 4 Capitol Mall is the mailing address. So just wanted to make sure you guys were aware of that physical move. And then I've got a couple of other, you saw the mail change. It'll go to 4 Capitol, no longer at Main Street for DHS. And then some of you were able to attend the town hall meetings that we did this summer, and just really appreciate all of you who came out. We had so much fun and loved it so much that we're scheduling a new round for the fall. So we're waiting until school gets started, maybe as early as September, late August, early September, and start coming out into some new locations this time. But we'll want to see you if you're able to join us. And it's just really a way for us to connect and network with you and to hear from you and make sure that your voices are heard. So I don't know that we have that list. We were still working on a few physical locations. So once we have that, we'll post it to the website and definitely make sure that we're sharing it so that you all can attend, and we'll send it to our local leads. And if you haven't connected with your local lead, make sure that you do that. That is on our website under local leads, and it has all of the counties that we're covering as well as the contact information. And so we'll definitely make sure they have it, and they'll be helping us host those town hall meetings. But look forward to seeing you in those, and we'll move to the next slide. Oh, and I should have started. This is like the most exciting thing. For those that don't know this, Arkansas last week was notified that we are number one in the country again for the third year in a row for the best early education system. So this is about all the work that we're doing. And so I just want to share that with the field because you can't do this without the people who make it happen. But this is about the policies and they take a lot of metrics to make this decision. And Arkansas has really been honored. I think the first year I was in such shock that I was certain it really wasn't our award, but it's really exciting to be acknowledged again, especially in light of all the changes that we've been through. But Arkansas is number one in the country across the USA for the best early education system. And that's our pre-K, our child care development block grant. And I will tell you, my team knows this, like we're working on making it better all the time, guys. We're not happy with everything. We want to make it better for you. So in spite of being number one, we're continuing to try to make improvements to streamline things and improve how it looks for those in the field. So I just look forward to hearing from you about how we can continue to do that. But wanted to celebrate with you all and make sure you were aware. So thank you for helping us and partnering to help us be number one in the country again. And I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Lori.
Good afternoon. And yes, I wanted to take some time. We have been sharing on our monthly provider calls the last couple of months about the LEARNS Act and the intention to pilot a classroom evaluation tool for the 2024-2025 program year. So we are beginning a class pilot learning year starting this year. And our local leads, we have a cohort 1 local lead that has been working to contact programs that are eligible to participate in the class pilot phase 1 starting this program year. So if you have not been contacted by your local lead as a qualifying program to participate, then you will continue with how you have been evaluating classroom quality in the past. All of our contractors and our grantees that support professional development. For example, the ABC refresher that incorporates some of the ECHRS and ITERS pieces. Those professional developments have been supported in offering teacher-child engagement and interactions. So those professional developments will not be tool specific. So those programs that have not been contacted to participate in the pilot, they will continue using those professional development opportunities to learn and about the class pilot, which is focused on the teacher-child interactions. But you can continue to utilize the technical assistance requests that support setting up brand new classrooms, what the arrangements need to look like, what centers and materials need to be in those programs, but really with a high emphasis on around what the teacher and children do with those environments and resources to support interactions with children. So again, if you have not been contacted on participating in the phase 1 pilot, there will be opportunities as we get cohort 2 local leads set up with the class. And when we finally get those last 10 counties supported by a local lead. So just to clarify, there will be no ECHRS or ITERS evaluations this year during the class pilot learning year, and that is for all programs. Those, the ERS team, again, are working through a transition with this pilot learning year and are supporting high quality early childhood environments But it is not, their trainings are not going to be specific to a tool, but they will be dedicated to those research-based strategies on what those high quality programs have in those classrooms. So the only programs that would be using the ECHRS or the ITERS tool this year will be programs that are wanting and volunteering to they're self-volunteering to level up in Better Beginnings. So if you were at a level 2 and it is not your year to be recertified in Better Beginnings or an ERS evaluation, if you are wanting to just level up from a level 2 to 3 or 4, then you would contact the Better Beginnings team and they would utilize the ECHRS classroom rating tool for leveling up for this pilot learning year. If you are a brand new program, just starting your program, and you need to get Better Beginnings certification, then this year we would use the ERS tool. So again, the only two situations where you would be utilizing the ERS tool in your program would be if you are volunteering or wanting to level up in Better Beginnings, or you are a brand new program needing Better Beginnings certification. All other programs will begin learning and understanding the CLASS tool, which is a classroom assessment tool based on teacher-child interactions. Our cohort 1 are working with those phase 1 pilot programs to offer a class introduction for leaders, a class introduction for teachers. And then there are some other professional developments that really hone in on those domains that are geared around child-teacher, effective child-teacher interactions. But we wanted to clear up any confusion. We have a lot of emails still coming in wanting to know about their ECHRS window. And this 24-25 program year is going to be our class pilot learning year, or in the past, we've talked about having a growth year to utilize this with your program, your early childhood educators to understand the class tool and be ready for understanding and making a transition during the pilot learning year. Are there any questions? Let me check.
I think you've answered. I'm kind of monitoring that. I think it was whether or not you level up with Better Beginnings. So, and Lori talked to that. It's in her slide. If you're wanting to level up, that is one of the reasons to use the ERS. And then if you're a new program. So I think you got that one. Lori, if you have questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat and Lori will monitor as well as other team members to try to answer your questions. I know we're going to transition over to another colleague, but I think I'm going to just offer this in this space because it's very relevant to this. Mm-hmm. At the Office of Early Childhood, we have 7 rules. And in those 7 rules, it is rules for Better Beginnings. And that's why we will continue to use the environment rating scale, because those rules haven't been changed. They're the same rules that were in place 2 years ago and last year. We are working on all of these 7 rules. So 4 of them have to do with licensing, child care centers, family child care homes, registered homes, and out of school time. Those are 4 different rules. We have Better Beginnings rules. We have our birth to pre-K credential rule, and we have the Arkansas Better Chance rules. So the only rule that has been changed, that has been approved and is final, is the birth to pre-K credential. So out of those 7 rules, 6 of the rules are exactly the same rules. So I know I'm getting questions sometimes from ABC or from other. There are no rules. They have to go through a very lengthy process between getting board approval to take them out for public comment, and then at some point going to the legislature for final approval. So it takes time, and we are still working on getting those through board approval, and or we had public comments and are having to take them back out again. So just be aware of that. If you have questions about the rules, you can look on the Department of Ed in the Office of Legal Services, and you can see the current rules and you can see the pending rules if you want to look at the changes. So just wanted to make sure you guys are aware of that. They will also post public comment, and you can submit your public comments in writing to the Office of Legal Services. So I'm going to hand it over to Brandy. I think, Lori, you have anything
Tanya,
else?
yeah, one more thing. I just had a direct message, and I think this is pertinent to everyone. But if you are not in that cohort 1 catchment area, the local lead of those first 12 local leads, if you are not and you are interested in getting some professional development on the introduction to class, reach out to your local lead. They have some professional development course codes that program leaders can use to help them understand as a leader, what is my role in the class implementation. And then they also have some class introduction course codes for teachers, and to help teachers understand what those domains and targets will be looked for with the new class pilot tool.
Thanks, Lori. I'm going to hand it over to Don Jeffrey.
Good afternoon. I see lots of familiar faces. I just want to talk to you a little bit about academic approval. We've talked about it almost every slide and every not background, but every provider call we've had. So to be able to be part of academic approval, you have to meet all health and safety standards. And this is anybody who is receiving state or federal funds. So, we have 1,900, almost 2,000 licensed programs. Not all of those receive any type of state or federal funds. But if you are one of those programs, you have to meet all health and safety standards. You have to participate in the unified accountability, work with your local leads, have kindergarten readiness. You have to participate in Better Beginnings, and you have to be part of that local leads. If you don't know who your local leads, I think we just have 10 counties that are not represented, but everybody else is. If you don't know, going on the website, it tells you every cohort 1 and cohort 2. You can look that up, and then it even has the captain of that area, so you can reach out to that person too. We are currently sending out emails for those programs that aren't ABC, publicly funded, CCDF, Head Start, and Medicaid. So we are sending out emails now just to say that you accept that and that you will participate. So you could possibly get an email from me. It's part of your ABC grant. It's part of your participant grant for the CCDF. So there's not that many programs left that we will actually have to get an email. But if you get one from me, you can go back and you can look this up. It's on our website too, and it'll give you some more information.
Thanks, Dawn. Appreciate that. And Lori and Paige have both dropped in the local leads website so that you can see who your captain is for your area. And I see several of those programs on the call today. So thank you guys for participating and being available. But you can go there and find the phone numbers. We do have those 10 counties and Pulaski County, not the city of Little Rock, but Pulaski County, that we will be pushing out an RFP later in the fall, probably September after school starts, to get those other counties covered. It is part of the LEARNS Act and a requirement. So I'm going to hand it over to Brandy to talk about our child care assistance for the people who work in our field.
Hello, it's afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. We just wanted to cover again quickly our child care worker requirements for the people who are working in your programs. We've had a lot of questions about things that would make a family eligible and what would not. So we just wanted to cover that again for you. And so we'll just talk a little bit about at least one of the adults in the household. They need to be working and employed at a licensed or registered child care facility that is participating in the child care assistance program. So that program needs to have an active participant agreement, and you need to employ them for them to be eligible. In their employment, they only need to be working, as you all know, we made this change effective July 1, 20 hours per week. So I hope that you have found that that is helping that's helping your employees and helping a lot of your families as well. If this is a two-parent household, both parents do have to be meeting that eligibility criteria of working or going to school for a minimum of 20 hours per week. Okay. And then the next thing, the family, we did want you to know that the income guidelines are going to be waived. However, we are still responsible for collecting the income for that household. And so that would be the income for the first parent and the income for the second parent. We have to collect that for both. Now, if that family is declaring that they have assets in excess of $1 million, we will have to deny that family. So federally, we cannot serve anyone who declares that their assets exceed $1 million. And as you all know, that the children have to be willing to attend a CCDF participant agreement program to be eligible for this funding. So I hope that you all are finding that this has been very beneficial to you. We are serving nearly 2,000 additional children in this program as of the end of June. So I haven't gotten new numbers updated just yet, but we are serving a lot of children. So we're finding that this seems to be very helpful, and we're happy that we've been able to do that. I see a question. Do they have to work the full 20 hours in the facility? Heather, no. So they do not have to work the full 20 hours in the child care facility. They just have to be employed by you. So what does that mean? That they're your cook or they're your bus driver and they only come in like an hour, or they come in 2 hours a week. That is fine, but they have to have additional employment that's going to equal the 20 hours a week. So the first thing is that they need to be employed with you. And secondly, they'll need to meet the 20 hours a week. So they can either get the entire 20 at your site, or they can do a combination of both. Okay. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Tanya, but I will address the other questions that are jumping into the chat.
Yeah, good deal. Yeah, Brandy, there's a bunch coming in, so she's going to monitor that and answer your questions in the chat box. I think that'll be easier. I do want to point out, because this question came up this week, this is if you have an employee in your early childhood program, but they have school-age children, this does cover children up to age 13. We do have out-of-school time childcare assistance, so it would be available to those families as well, or to that employee as well. So just be aware of that. There was a little bit of confusion about that, I think, maybe in the field. And so we keep hearing about these things, and we want to make sure that we bring it back and help you guys know who it's available for and why. I did see a question about home visiting, Brandy. That currently isn't covered, but we can definitely take that into consideration and go back to our federal partners. And then I'll let her answer the other questions, but wanted to make sure you knew that school-age children are covered under this as well. It is for early childhood. It is not for K-12 teachers, guys. So just to be really clear about that, this is for people working in the childcare and early childhood education space. And it really was a way for us to try to offset some of the salary changes that have happened in K-12 for the population of people that we work with, and to try to help, because sometimes paying for childcare can be a really big burden for the teachers in our field. And so it was a way to put salary really savings back into their pocket. So, and we really look forward to serving you all as we go forward. So just want to make sure that you guys have that right at the front, and that it's available, and you know it's available, and that your employees are taking advantage of it. I think, Brandy, if you'll keep answering questions, maybe you've gotten all of them, and we'll just move to the next slide. And we're close to the end, guys. Our next call is September 3rd at 12. That will be after the Labor Day holiday, I think. So I hope you guys I know for many of us, school will start, public school, but it also for early childhood programs is a reset. Some kids are going to be saying goodbye to you and going on to big school, and you'll have some new kiddos probably coming in, and maybe new staff and new teachers, but just getting your facilities all ready for those transitions. But hope you guys have a fantastic start to the year. If you have questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. Put a little plug in. I know that A-State's having a big conference this week, so maybe we'll see some of you there. I've got staff and myself that will be attending tomorrow and presenting at a couple of different times. So just look forward to seeing you out there, and we'll get you the town hall meetings. I'm going to just keep going down just to make sure we have plenty of time to answer questions. It looks like we've gotten them all. Brandy, thank you, and team. But have a great rest of your day and a great start to the school year. And reach out to us if you need us. Thank you.